So to begin with, we want to make sure that you understand what on earth the local skills improvement plans are for those that perhaps haven't already been benefited from that experience. But they are employer-led plans that are there to shape the post-16 technical education. They are commissioned by Skills England, and it is a partnership driven by the Cambridgeshire Chamber of Commerce as the employer representative body, supporting and reaching all businesses of all shape, size and sector, and the Cambridgeshire and Peterborough Combined Authority. And they are designed to ensure that the training provision responds directly to the needs of what our businesses need. We are looking to close the skills gap, ultimately to make sure that we can support the economic growth for our region. And ultimately, the plan sits to put employers very much at the heart of the skills system. The mission is to form a key part of the overall strategic planning system in a particular area, working through a framework of collaboration, making sure that employers, skills providers and stakeholders come together to make sure we've got a shared understanding, that we galvanise action, we drive collaboration to support the skills needs post-16 technical education from entry level up to level 8. I will just skip over, there is a video that you will be able to access separately, but for the interest of time this morning, we will just move forwards onto the next slide. So in December, we saw the publication of the local growth plan by Mayor Paul Bristow, outlining a vision to potentially triple our economy by 2050. Within that local growth plan were some very clear actions that need to happen, focus on those growth sectors, but also where we needed to enable sectors such as construction and care. We also have the Get Cambridgeshire and Peterborough working plan, and the local skills plan exists to respond to the needs of the local growth plan, to make sure that our employers have got access to the talent and the skills at the right time in the right place in order to be able to grow. The LSIP will align mutually to the Get Cambridgeshire and Peterborough working plan, but it will remain very much focused on those technical education routes that those growth sectors require. Whereas the Get Cambridgeshire and Peterborough working plan will look to tackle some of the broader societal issues that we know we need to work through in society. But ultimately, we want to make sure that being able to access skills to engage with education is a simple process for our employers. The model is one of joint ownership, so it's for us very important that we have got the joint accountability between the employer representative body, the Chamber of Commerce, and the Cambridgeshire and Peterborough Combined Authority. We're working to engage with employers through a number of different routes, one-to-one interviews, forums, events, surveys, and various communication channels. We're also working to engage with our stakeholders, trade unions, our MPs, trade bodies, the Department for Work and Pensions, and neighbouring business representative organisations. It's also, though, important that we work with our educators, and where possible, we want to help them understand the demand and how they respond in a collaborative, joined-up fashion, so that as our region undergoes significant growth, our educators can make sure that they are responding to the needs of the wider economy in a joined-up, non-duplicative fashion, whether you be an independent training provider from our further education or higher education organisations, or perhaps our charities and community interest companies and voluntary sector. So the local skills improvement plan is there, as mentioned beforehand, to respond to the needs of the local growth plan. We also will make sure, as mentioned, that we are responding and working alongside, but there are quite clear differences as to where the responsibilities lie between the Get Cambridgeshire and Peterborough working plan and the objectives of the local skills improvement plan. But ultimately, what sits at the very heart of this work is responding to the needs of our employers across the region, and hopefully enabling our stakeholders and educators to work in the most joined up and effective fashion. So the local growth plan has pointed to a number of key sectors, growth sectors, agri-food and tech, life sciences, digital technologies, energy and clean tech, advanced manufacturing and materials, and also defence. But there is a strong recognition that for our region, with some significant infrastructure and also some societal demands that sectors such as construction and adult social care will be absolutely critical for our growth through to 2050. So right now we're in a period until the 31st of March where we are managing the project. We are looking at the evidence that exists. We're engaging with stakeholders through a number of different formats, which we will touch on in more detail just shortly. And then we are analysing the data that we and our partners share to make sure that we develop a strong evidence base that Glenn will be able to talk about shortly. We will then, though, take the time during the month of March to start to synthesise, prioritise and develop a plan of action. So Glenn, I will just invite you to walk our guests through the methodology that is being employed through this part of the Local Skills Improvement Plan process.
Thanks, Charlotte. Yeah, so I'm just going to outline the methodology of the Local Skills Improvement Plan and how we gather and analyse the information and views of stakeholders and employers. I think the first step has been to review existing policies, strategies and the existing evidence base and delivery. A key aspect has to be to look forward in terms of how policy is developing for the combined authority and to be aware that they're getting more responsibilities for things such as needs, for example, and that we need to design our analysis to be able to inform how they deliver for needs. So there's like a review stage of existing policies and strategies and evidence, and then what we call a full evidence review, where we access the latest statistics on the labour market, and this can include statistics on employment by industry, employment by occupation, employment forecasts for demand by industry and occupation, statistics about educational attainment levels, statistics about economic participation, unemployment, the employment rate, statistics about deprivation, for example. And so we're also conducting an in-depth analysis of Lightcast vacancies. So Lightcast is a system that scoops up all the data on online jobs vacancies, including those advertised in the most kind of popular recruitment agencies and portals. And that allows us to analyze like real time and skills demand in the economy, and we get all the data about vacancies, about the job descriptions, about the skills that those jobs require, about the qualifications that are needed to access those jobs, and other data such as the length of time a job vacancy has been advertised, which gives us an idea of vacancies that are hard to fill. And so we're doing this vacancy analysis for those 7 priority sectors that Charlotte identified. And the Chamber of Commerce has also launched an employer survey to get employer views on current recruitment challenges, how they currently train their staff, how they currently use the education and training system. And so there's also a range of consultations being undertaken with employers, with stakeholders, a range of workshops and events. And we have this other system called Video Ask, which is a way that people can submit their views. They can answer some questions that Charlotte poses in a video, and they can answer these via a video, voice or text message using their phone or their computer. So just want to go to the next slide, please. So the kind of key milestones are going forward are the Combined Authority Skills Committee to approve the kind of the draft LSIP document, which is mainly the evidence review and the conclusions from that. Then the full SIP goes to develop an action plan that's associated with that. And then at the end of March, the LSIP update is submitted to Skills England with a final submission in the 15th of May and publication in June. Next slide, please. The kind of themes and issues we explore as part of the LSIP and that we analyse, or it's really looking at the state of the labour market, the performance of the economy, what's the current status of demand for skills and labour, are there any shortages, are there any challenges in terms of participation in the labour market, either in terms of high rates of economic inactivity in the working age population, or perhaps even like a high rate of employment and low rate of workforce growth in some of the more rural districts in the area. And we're looking at education and skills attainment and skills demand from vacancies data. Then we're also looking at unique local characteristics and challenges and opportunities for the labour market. And these could be based on jobs growth in the local economy, pay or progression, for example. And a lot of it's about understanding what's driving the demand for workers and skills in certain sectors or localities. And we also analyse education and training and skills provision. And then we're trying to look at how matching provision matches with skills demand. So we're trying to identify gaps or potential future gaps that the local skills improvement plan aims to fill. So overall, we're getting a view of the changing and future employment and skills landscape, and what this will look like. And it's very much evidence-based. It's based on employers' views and the evidence that employers give to us. And also, we, as part of the consultation, there's a lot of projects and initiatives already in place for employment and training and skills. So, we always ask which ones are working, which should we continue or adapt or enhance. It's not about starting everything from scratch again. It's about taking existing provision, expanding it, adapting it for future needs. Okay.
Thank you, Glenn.
Thanks. That's great. Thank you.
Critically, the call to action, and we're grateful that so many of you have spared your time to dial into today's session. We're really calling for support from our broader stakeholder audience to make sure that we can raise the awareness that you're able to share, and also to encourage your own networks to be able to contribute through a number of different routes. We do have an employer survey which is currently live, so we'd be most grateful if you can make sure that that is shared across your networks, and please do contribute towards it if you feel that it's suitable for you to do so. As Glenn has outlined, we do have the Video Ask platform, and we do have two different scenarios. So we have one for those of you that feel that you firmly are purely a stakeholder, but we also do have the Video Ask for our employers. And we recognise that some of you may well feel that you are both of those. So please do feel free to contribute to one or both of those, but please do share the employer opportunity to contribute through that 3-minute session with your own audiences. We are also conducting a number of one-to-one interviews across our employer and stakeholder network. So if you would like to contribute, you'd be really welcome to do get in touch. But equally, we're really keen to make sure that we've got employers across the bandwidth of sizes, across the geographies that our region represents, across those key sectors, but also the broader economy. So please, if you've got employers that would like to contribute, do engage them with the skills team here at the Chamber. We're also asking you to submit any reports, publications, or evidence that you may hold on to. So that might be research that you've previously conducted, labour market information, any previous initiatives or programmes, or things that you feel that we should be aware of, and also any previous reports you may well have published or perhaps you are working on. So please do submit those to the email address shown below. In terms of the next steps, we will be creating an edited version of this particular recording so that you're able to share that with colleagues and the wider audience who you feel may benefit from viewing it. We will be sharing assets so that you have got access to the skills survey, the Video Ask platform, and as previously mentioned, we would be grateful for you raising the opportunity for employers to engage with one-to-one interviews, but really encourage you also to contribute from your own organisation's perspective. We're also calling strongly for that previous evidence that you may well have, so do send that through to the email address that we've previously mentioned. And you'll see on the Chamber website, there's a number of events taking place at the moment where employers are being engaged across a number of topics, geographies and sectors. But equally, if you've got events running, a great example I would point to is the Huntingdonshire District Council team have got a strong focus on defence, and we're very grateful for the opportunity to come along to that type of event, to absorb, to be able to engage with employers and make sure that we're collaborating and not duplicating effort.